conflict theory and deviance. So regarding deviance in an industrial society, that's like a society like a European country or the United States. According to conflict theory, deviance is behavior that those in control of that society see as threatening to their interests. Critics of industrial society are considered deviants because their beliefs challenge the basic economic beliefs of society. So, for example, if you were in favor of communism or even a socialist type of government, that would be considered deviant in an industrial society like the United States. Because industrial society requires a willing workforce, those who will not work are considered deviant. Like many people who are homeless, they are considered to be deviant because they're not working. Those who threaten private property, especially that belonging to the rich, are defined as deviant and are prime targets for punishment. Because of society's need for respect for authority, people who show a lack of respect for authority are treated as deviant. Whether that's being in school or in the general public regarding with like police or other officials, those you don't show respect for authority, you're treated as a deviant. Certain activities and attitudes, though, that might otherwise be considered deviant, like aggressiveness and violence, are accepted in sports because it fosters competition, achievement, and winning. So you can be aggressive and violent in certain realms because it supports things like competition and winning, which are very important in a capitalistic society. Conflict theory argued that minorities receive unequal treatment in the American criminal justice system. That's what they say the data shows that. Conflict theory argued that minorities are more likely to be arrested and convicted for criminal offenses. Actually, FBI crime reports supports this, that statistically, if you are a minority, you are more likely to be arrested and convicted for criminal offenses. Conflict theory argued that minorities often do not have the economic resources to buy good legal services, oftentimes have to use the public defender, and those caseloads for public defenders are so overwhelmed, they are overwhelmed with their caseload, they're not able to give each case individualized attention that someone who could pay for the attorney might. Conflict theory argued that crime against whites tend to be punished more severely than crimes against minorities. And this again is supported by the FBI crime reports when they look at the crimes and the punishments that go with those crimes and like the prison sentences given. This brings in this idea of victim discounting, the process of reducing the seriousness of the crimes that injure people of lower status. Now, what's in this picture you're seeing, the young lady was reaching in and taking money out of a homeless person's container, and she's caught on video doing this. And she is kind of shamed on social media for doing this, but in essence, she's stealing from this homeless person. But if a homeless person were to steal money from, say, a cash register of a store, that would be an arrestable offense. It wouldn't be just a subject of being shamed on Facebook. White-collar crime would be job-related crimes committed by high-status people. Despite the fact that white-collar crime costs businesses and consumers billions of dollars a year, the people who commit these crimes often are treated more leniently than other criminals. Probation is granted more frequently for white-collar criminals. If they are in prison, they get shorter sentences. If they go to prison, they tend to go to prisons with extra amenities such as tennis courts and private rooms. So white-collar criminals are treated much differently than crimes of, say, property crimes, like someone who breaks and enters into a home and robs and maybe take $2,000 worth of material, is punished much more severely than someone who commits a white-collar crime and then end up stealing millions of dollars from investors. And that's your big show on conflict theory and deviance.